on. It's Mindful Mondays. We like to sit and either drive together, have breakfast together, have coffee together, and just chat it up. Let's talk about some stuff. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I have a new podcast episode coming out today. It's all about marriage. And let's talk about being intentional with our relationships, with how we treat ourselves, with whether what we want to engage in, and just be mindful and motivational. All right, I always like to share my breakfast with you guys. Today it's scrambled eggs with um, cottage cheese, some of that smoked salmon I was telling you guys about, and I like grits as well. So that's my carb, but it's packing all that protein in, making sure you get enough protein. So you can do that by putting the cottage cheese in the eggs. You could either, sometimes if I do it over easy, I'll just put some cottage cheese at the end. But if I want it to be all mixed in, what I'll do is I'll just like, how you scramble the eggs, you mix them, I'll just put the cottage cheese in there. And when you scramble them, they're like really fluffy. Like, how some people like to put milk in their scrambled eggs to make it fluffy? Well, the cottage cheese does this. And one serving, which is kind of like a half a cup, has 13 grams of protein. So I just put like half of that. So that's giving me an extra 7 grams of protein right there. And we know for us as women, getting into that protein, packing that protein in is super important. It's super important for helping us to work out. It's super important for just keeping us grounded. I had just made a post about like, don't tell me you're practicing self-care if you are not eating regularly, if you're not eating breakfast, if you're not nourishing yourself, if you're saying, oh, I'm getting massages and pedicures, but you're neglecting your body on a daily basis. That is not self-care. That is sometimes I care. Okay. So this is what we're doing for breakfast. It doesn't look as good on the picture as it does, but let's talk about being mindful. What are the areas in life that you feel like we need to be more mindful in? Got my coffee too. What are the areas of life that you feel we need to be more mindful in? The number one, so for me, the two big ones are how I take care of my body. So, like what I eat, how I exercise, those are non negotiables. And I have to be mindful because it's so easy to fall off the train. It's so easy to be like, oh, I don't feel like doing all this, right? This protein breakfast. I'm just going to stop at Dunkin' Donuts and get a donut or one of their sandwiches. Now, once in a while, okay, their sandwiches are cool, but over and over, it's a lot of chemicals, it's a lot of fat, it's not that much protein, right? So you have to be mindful of it. The other area is in your relationships. And this is whether you're trying to get in a relationship or you're in one. So, I've been married for 14 years. That does not mean that I stop. Hey, guess what? Guess what? Be kind to everyone. Oh, I love that name. Um, that does not mean that I stop being intentional about it, about how I take care of myself, about how I treat my spouse, about how I communicate. And today's episode, oh, you're a burger. Okay. Today's episode when the podcast is dropping this evening is all about being intentional about what you want, but it's really about marriage because marriage is getting a bad rap these days. Everybody's talking about, oh, it's not worth it to be married. Single people live longer. Marriage only benefits men. Not true. Not true. And I'm breaking down all of the statistics. But what I do say is if you don't want to be married, it's okay. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's you being intentional. Like when I hear people say, I don't want to have kids, I've heard people say, I was taking care of kids, all I you said I'm a burger. Okay. I've heard people say I've been taking care of kids all throughout growing up, I was a big sibling, a big cousin. I'm tired of caretaking. I want to live my life. I want to be free. I do not want to have kids. I 100% respect those people. You know why? Because they know what they want. How many people have kids and they abuse them or they resent them or they never wanted to have kids? So 100% I'm for it. For the people who say, I don't want to be married. No, I don't want to have that level of commitment or sacrifice, or I'm going to be bored, or whatever they feel. Stand on business. But for those of you who are like midway, you're just going with the wind because of what you hear people say. You hear a statistic that says, oh, single people, women live longer, earn more, and are happier. You hear that and then you change your mind. You want it, and then you hear somebody say, "Well, marriage isn't all it's cracked up to be." So you change your mind. Like those are the people I'm talking to you. Hey, what's up, everybody? We're eating breakfast. We're talking Mindful Mondays. I'm talking to you, and I want you to watch that episode because a lot of these statistics are kind of all just mangled up. People are picking and choosing, and there's a part of life and relationships that cannot be captured by a statistic. Right? So while they might get a mother who's in the midst of raising small kids, married, you know, at one point in time, she might say, I'm not feeling happy right now. But if you look over the whole span of time, her level of fulfillment, her level of connection, her level of purpose and meaning, as well as the fact that we know that when women are in a stable partnership, they acquire and build more wealth. The family unit builds more wealth, and that is passed down, more likely to be passed down generationally. So there's a lot to this. So we're going to get into it. Let me know um in the chat if you're here. What are your thoughts on marriage? Or what are your thoughts on being intentional in relationship? Right? Do you if you don't want marriage, do you just want um casual relationships, or if you want serious, like, how do you discuss that? Yes, true. If you're a mom, I can tell you're a good. Oh, okay. Thank you. Yes, I am. I think I'm a good mom. But we are not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's a perfect husband, wife, mother, child. So that's why we need to give each other grace. And sometimes in our relationships, we are so hard on the people closest to us. And then the people that don't matter, we give them all the grace in the world, right? Mm-hmm. We do that. So what you need to be more intentional about? For me, I know it's how I take care of myself and it's my relationships, right? I want to be a better daughter. I want to be able to communicate. Well, I want to be able to forgive my parents for things, like some of us get so caught up. Oh, my parents did this, they didn't give me that. Nobody taught me this. Hey, Zoe. Um, when are you going to forgive? When are you going to take responsibility for your own life? Have grace, forgive, move on, whatever it takes to not be stuck. So that's just what I wanted to say for Mindful Mondays, right? Yes, I'm eating. So I was talking about the importance of protein. This was two scrambled eggs with cottage cheese, my smoked salmon, the smoked salmon you can buy in the packet. And then I have grits, a little side of grits. So I always like to do a bunch of protein, maybe a healthy fat, and a little bit of carb. If it's not something like grits or oats, it'll be like my sourdough raisin bread. Yes. So that's what I like to do. And I have to be intentional. It is so easy to run out the house and not eat anything. All right. So if you're joining, thank you. Thank you. It's so good to see you. Yes, I like to share my meals with you guys. Next time, I've been doing breakfast. Next time, I'm going to show you dinner. I made a good dinner last night. It was like a chicken stew. Okay. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, put the notifications on. The podcast episode is dropping tonight. We're talking about marriage, relationships, being intentional, knowing what you want and not being, persuaded one way or the other just based on what other people are saying, which a lot of times is a bunch of crap. Okay, so I will check you guys out later. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notifications bell, and I will see you next time. I'm Dr. Nicole. Peace out.